Alright, when we register successfully, if there is an error, you have to show the error. So saving the error in a state and show it. This part takes time, okay? I would like to when the user is successfully registered, like we don't have error like here, so we check the result. If there is an error inside, then we have an error. This means we want to show the error to the user. But if there is no error, then this means there is a good result, 200 okay. Then we want to redirect the user. Okay. You know what? Let's show the error also. But the error is not a nice error to show later. You have to change the error in a nicer way. But we can show the error. Let's say I want to show the error somewhere here under this age input, so somewhere here, I think here. Okay, I want to add a little just div and I'm going to show the error actually here. Okay, so the error comes here, whatever it comes to from our backend. You can show one by one of the errors. When the input is empty, you can show a little message under this input, like a red one, hey, username must not be empty or something. But as an example, I put a really entire error here that you can see how it works, and later you can do it for every input actually. You need a state again. Yeah, for everything you need state. For example, error set error. Yeah. Const, let's say error set error use state, and by default we don't have any error, so empty string. Okay, so based on the result we're gonna check if the result that we have, if there is .error inside, if there is any error inside, because if you check we have error keyword here, so we check that. If there is an error inside, then I'm gonna set the error to whatever is the error actually that is coming. So error, I'm going to set the error whatever is coming from the result actually, set result.error. So result.error in this case, in this error that we had, is this one. When we set it, it will be saved to this variable. And because it's there, then we can use that variable somewhere here. Instead of this hard-coded error, I can replace it with the error state variable. Okay? So you can see by default is empty. Now if I register, definitely an error coming. And bang, we show it here. Alright? This could be a nice little message actually, not that big one. Let me use a little small do we have a small tag? Yeah, this one. Control X, Control V. Yeah, that's much better. You can style it even with a red one. So let's say style, color, red. See? You can show such an error actually. or when the username is there, when the email is there, when the password is there, but the age is by default 0. Okay, let's say this one is not there. When we do this, oh, that should be an email. Okay, example.com. We don't have the password provided. We want to register. Bang. You can see user validation, username is required, email password is required. The username is actually there. Why it's not updating? Why username is failed? I gave the username actually. Let's test it again. So, providing a username, providing an email, and no password. Let's say no password is provided. Let me register. Back. Oh no. There is a bug in our system. It registered this without password. Really? Let me see what was the payload. Yeah, the payload, the password was empty. We should receive error. But we received a response that database was happy to save that in our database. And that's bad. And I think there is a reason for that. I think empty string is a value that we hashed it. You know what I mean? You can make empty string to hash password. Let me check the database, MongoDB. This person with, is it a password there or not? I really need to see. You know what's the problem? Do you know what's the problem happening here? Is there anybody there, actually?
Yes, we are here.
Yeah, but did you understand my question? You funny guys, really.
I didn't really get it.
The question.
The password hashed as an empty string?
The question is, I didn't put a password, and our schema checks the password must not be empty, like it's required, so to say. If I go to server models, user model, the password is required. This means it shouldn't be empty string. So we send the empty string. You can see this is the one that it went to the backend in the request. We should receive actually an error, says like password is required, but we didn't, and it saved it to the database. And I'm surprised. I just want to see, I want to check my MongoDB that if it's saved there with a empty password, it's a bad bug. We have to solve that. It could be my database is corrupted. Yeah, sometimes when it doesn't work, you have to make it empty and it works. But let's make sure. I'm gonna browse collections. Let's see. So today we were working on Fullstack Auth review. Let's check the users. There was the last one that I registered. Yeah, see, I think this is an empty password. So we have, if you hash an empty string, the hashed one will be this. we need to make sure it's not an empty string, the password that is coming. Yeah, that's bad thing. Let's go to our user auth router. Here we need to make sure this password that we try to hash it, it must not be empty, because when we hash it, we can hash an empty string and it will be something. And then the database says, oh, that's something, then I save it there. That's bad. Here we need an if condition. So we can say if rec.body dot password equal to empty string, then we want to send error. Actually, we want to stop the process exactly here. We're going to say next. Status. Come on. Status. 400, bad request really. And then the message, we can put a default message ourselves. Password must, what do you say as error? Must not be empty, or what is a good error for that? Password field is empty. Yeah, something like that. And then you stop the process, which is return here. In this way, then we make sure if the body of the request is coming, if it's empty, we stop that, because we don't want to hash an empty string, because it's really hash it and it makes it a very long string. That's bad. Let's test it again. Here I'm gonna register someone else with some other thing, but this time again registration empty. Let's test it. I'm gonna refresh. Let's see. Bang. Now password field is empty. Yeah, makes sense. Now we can say 1 2 3 4, and the age by default is 0, but we can say like 54. Register. Fantastic. If we check the console, you can see it's registered. And you have to make sure if something is showing here, you have to again, when the user clicks on that, you should get rid of that state again to make it empty, because forever it stays there. Yeah, so make sure your error message for the next time you click on that, where was it in the registration? Yeah, it makes it empty. So every time you click on the handle button, make sure your error is empty. So you can set error to an empty string again, actually. Yeah, that's the thing. So let's see, when I click on that, yeah, it makes it empty. New error we receive now. Duplicate key, we have such a user. Let's make it Mickey gmail.com, and the password 1 2 3 4. I want to remember it. Mickey 24 maybe, the age. Then let's register. Fantastic, successfully registered. Okay, in this case we want now to redirect the user to a login page if successfully registered, if no error. Okay, so if no error happens, it comes here. But before that, also when you set it, try to return to stop the process, because always when you have some if condition, you do something, then yeah, try to return if you don't want the code continue to do the other stuff. Yeah? Now, if it's successfully done, like successfully registered, this means it doesn't go to this if condition, it comes here. We want to redirect the user. Do you know in React how to redirect the user to somewhere else? Have you done that before? Yeah, what is it? Yes, fantastic. Use navigate, I think. The use navigate is a hook. I think it's in the React router DOM. I don't remember it. Import use navigate. Yeah, use navigate is from the React router DOM. You can, so the way that you can use it is like you have to first, outside of any function, somewhere here in your main component, create a variable, like all of the hooks that you have, guys. So everything that starts with use, like use state, use navigate, use context, so to say, we call them hooks. And if you don't know what are the hooks, imagine them as functions, that they do something for now. So all of the hooks should be defined out of any other function, but inside of your main component function, like use state. You can see here. You cannot use state here. It doesn't work. You get error. So everything in the top of here. So also about the use navigate, you can the documentation says save it to a variable, name it navigate, and run the use navigate hook, which is a function, and that's it. So you can use this variable to redirect a user everywhere that you want. Let's say here, after the user successfully is registered and no error is happening, it comes here. You can say navigate user, navigate, this is the variable, this one, and that's a function. And inside you can say the route, where to navigate, /login. We can redirect them to /login page. Let's see, it should work. Let's register someone else, like Jacob, and Jacob gmail.com, password is 1234, age is 27. Yeah, let's register. Successfully registered, it should be redirecting to the login. Bang. Poof, it's working. We are in the login now. Yeah? Does this make sense for you guys? Hopefully it's not a mumbo jumbo, I'm telling. Alright, Mickey. It's not a user friendly, you know, because it's about the UX is bad. User registered, suddenly pop, they go to a login page. It's bad. You know what I mean? You have to show a nice message to your user, like somewhere here, okay, successfully log in. You will be redirected to login page in 2 seconds, 3 seconds or something. You can do such things. For example, let's say you can use set time out. Set time out runs a function, yeah, after any millisecond that you want. Let's say after 4 seconds or 4,000 milliseconds. You can do this. You can navigate user after 4 seconds, not immediately, if successfully registered. And in these 4 seconds, you can show a nice message, for example, hey, successfully done, for example. We can do that. Let's say you can set, you can create another You can create another I'm thinking about creating another state, or just let me use this error instead. It's bad naming. Let's use another thing. You can say we can have another state. Let's say successful login. What should I name it? Successful, it's not login, register text, something like that. Set text, and the use state is empty, yeah, for the beginning. You can use something like this. You can show this text, a successful text, when the user is successfully registered, so somewhere here before you redirect the user. You can say set text function or set whatever function you have as a state. You can put a nice message. Let's say successfully registered, you will be redirected to log in 4 seconds. Yeah, something like that. And then you want to show this text, which is inside of this state now, to somewhere that you want. Let's say in this case was error. Now the same thing I want to put as a, not this variable, I want to show what we named the state. It's a very long name. Successful register text. Let's show it green. Yeah, it's better for user friendly. Let's test it. Register something 3 someone, and that someone gmail.com, password 1234, age 36. Bang. This, after 4 seconds, we should be redirected, and bang. Yeah. I was a bit fast in this part because we don't have that much time, but that's how you can do it. Wow. Register, we have error. Cool. We go back to this and this and this working. For the login also is the same. You need to take the value of the user. Let's say I think Mickey was installed. Sorry, it was registered. mickey@gmail.com with 123 password, and when the Mickey clicks on the login, you have to make the request to the backend. Take these 2 values and send to the login system, the login endpoint, and the login endpoint sends you back a response again, like the same way we did in the registration. Now tell me, should I do the login or you do it yourself?
If you still have strengths, let's do it together.
Yeah, should we do it now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be a bit fast. Yeah. So it's the same way. I need to get values from inputs. All right. How do you get the values from inputs? You need states. You have two inputs somewhere here. One an email, another one is a password. When you type, you want to get the value. Let's do it. So const email set email use state. At the beginning it's an empty. All right. The next thing, const password set password. Also default is empty. So when it's changing, we want to run a function to get every time the value changes. So the unchange goes to every input. Unchange handler. You want to run a function. You can save this function into a variable, or because we're just doing one line, we can write it here straight ahead. We can set email e.target.value don't forget to pass e to the function. The same thing goes to password. Unchange, this means every time the password input is changing, I want to run this function and take the value of the password. Set password to e.target. Oops. Dot value. Is that so far clear what we did? Great. It's just pretty clear. Taking email and password. Now the next step is login. When I click on that, you can see it's refreshing the page. I need to kill this behavior. And this is a behavior of, we know it. Form. The form, the button that, every button inside of the form has this behavior of clicking and refreshing. So we need to kill that when we submit the form. This means on submit. So let's write submit handler. Let's write this function. This is the main function that's doing everything. Const this. Oops, oops, oops. All right, guys. So when we click on the login, this function is going to run. This is our form actually. So what we want to do, the same thing. Let's first kill the default behavior. A.prevent default. So let's test it. It should not refresh. So it's not refreshing. That's fantastic. There are a couple of steps to do. Prepare login credentials of user. Like we need to prepare it as an object, and then send these credentials to back and login endpoint. we receive a response from backend, either error or successful login. If error, show the error to user. If success, redirect user to our secret page. There is one thing. You can see already without logging in, everyone can access to the secret page. Okay, we are not still doing the security stuff, like I don't want to let anybody to go to this page if they're not logged in, because there is no time. It's pretty easy, but it's no time, and you are tired and it's too much. We will keep this for next week Monday. Okay, we continue that. And but anyway, let's just log in. Yeah, when we log in, we redirect the user to this page. Okay, so let's do step 1. The user credentials object, which we can name it data or login data or whatever you want to name it. Data. It's an object with one email inside, because our backend expects that, and the password that we get it. These two are here, these ones. Whatever the user types, they will be saved into here, and we put them into an object. We want to send this object with the request const. We expect a response from our backend. You want to wait for the response, and we're going to use the fetch. So what is the endpoint for logging in? Do you remember it? HTTP localhost 777 Auth, or no, API/Auth/login. I think that was the endpoint. So first of all, it should be async. Let's make it async. And the next thing is we need to modify our fetch request, because this endpoint is a post, and also we need to stringify the body of the request, and also in the header we have to say content type application JSON. This is our config object, the same way that we did const config. The first thing is method, so the method is post with capital usually, headers content type application JSON, and the body of the request, which we need to stringify that. So JSON that stringify. So what do we want to send? It's our login data in the line 11. Login data. That's just an object with three things always. If you want to modify your fetch request, you define the method, you define headers, and the body of the request that must be stringified, and your data. You pass it as a second argument, config. That's ready. And after that, when the response is coming, we know it's a string. We need to make it to JSON again. So whatever is the response, we don't know. It could be an error or a result. We want to make it to JSON back. Okay. And then let's console log the result to test. I know I don't have such thing in my database. So login. Login. Fantastic. We receive an error from our backend. Email does not exist. You can show this error here, somewhere here, as we did. Make a state, save it into a state, and that's it. Yeah. So we can check like a if condition we did. If the result, there is an error inside, then show error here. So I'm going to just console log show error. And return. Yeah. So I just want to put the console log also here that you see the error. But show error means save it to it. What we did in the registration. There is no time. I am not gonna do that with this. But what if successfully log in? I remember Mickey, I registered you, correct? So it was mickey@gmail.com. The password. Let's put a fake password. Login. Fantastic. We receive that email or password is wrong. That's the message we put it there. Let's change the password. 1, 2, 3. I think I put it 1, 2, 3, 4. Login. Fantastic. You are successfully logged in. Yeah. So this is a successful message. So when we have a successful message, then it doesn't go there, it comes here. We can redirect the user. We can say they use navigate. Let's import it again. Import use navigate const navigate that's it. So I'm going to use this to navigate the user where I want. You're going to navigate user to secret page. Let's log in again. Mickey. For bank. All right. Hope it was helpful. We have a lot to do because you need to know how to secure this page, or you need to know still, because look at that. If I refresh the page, again it says login and the user should be logged in. We need to know if a user is logged in, then we don't want to show the login page anymore to the user. They are logged in, they freely can go to the secret page even if they refresh the page. So these things are left, which are the important things. Have you done this in React before? Okay. I think we need to get Monday also continuing that. But to continue that, you need tomorrow's lesson, JWT. And there will be another teacher coming to you. So learn that topic tomorrow, because Monday we need that. All right? That's it. Do you have a question?